And gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the 17th episode of the SuperNova Show. And I am your host, Colton Roberts. We got a great show today. We're going to talk MCU Phase 3 from Captain America Civil War to Black Panther. And then we're going to talk about the season finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm going to go ahead and bring out Mr. Robert Castner.
That's right.
What's up, Robert?
I'm not Captain Falcon, but Falcon punches all around, you know?
Yeah, so I really wonder how much if they had to pay Nintendo to be
God, I hope so. I was just hoping somebody somewhere would say Falcon punch or kick, but I know I was expecting too much.
Yep. So last week was my birthday, and
how does it feel a week being 30?
Yeah, it was good. And my wife got me this nice Spider-Man chair that I get to sit in. So
you know what? I did notice that your chair was different, but obviously you were sitting in it, so I didn't know it was behind you. And it does look very dapper, sir.
Yeah, like it has like the eyes and everything. If you remove this Marvel,
oh my gosh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, she knows that I'm planning on doing a lot more content. So yeah,
trying to up your game.
Yep, that was really neat.
That's why I have all the posters and stuff. I have this poster above me that you can't see because I'd have to turn the camera all the way around, but trying to make my space more for the sake of content as well. So I understand.
Yeah, like I have a bunch of nerdy stuff in here. I even have, even though I don't like the movie and we've talked about it, I have a Rise of Skywalker poster in my room.
Well, it looks nice.
Yeah, the poster's really nice. Now, just that the movie was. But yeah, like the office is kind of a mess, but eventually, yeah, I'll give an office tour. Man, I need to clean up. But so how are you doing today?
Doing well. Long week of work. Glad it's over. We're not going to get into this as part of the overall menu of what it is we have coming up, but I have so many matches. I have so many fan league matches coming up.
Oh yeah, I agree. I have all of my cards for my geek stuff because it was revealed that I have to play Antonio Chavez and TMG. So
I gotta be honest, the TMG thing is like way far down my list of priorities. Even though I'm on the short list for contendership.
Yeah, I just know he's really good, and the person I'm playing in Full Metal Geek, I don't know how good they are, so I'm not like I don't know.
For granted.
Yep. So I mean, they may be amazing, but I don't know what to prepare for. I know exactly what to prepare for with Antonio because he has a lot of material.
Yep. So. I can attest as his partner and as someone who just played him recently.
Yep. Yeah. So that's good. All right. So MCU Phase 1 Phase 3 Part 1. So what did you think about this?
I think I could be wrong because Part 2 does have my dual back-to-backs of Infinity War and Endgame, which I very much enjoy. This might be my favorite stretch of all the phases, I think. Overall, I don't think there's a bad one in the bunch, which is great.
Yeah.
I don't think you could go wrong if you said any of these was your favorite. I think people might look at you oddly if you said Guardians 2 or Doctor Strange was your favorite, but I would get it if you said it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, all right, so as I have in previous weeks, I've asked you who your favorite hero was and who was your favorite villain.
Yes.
And if that's changed through the phases, I know week 1, yours was Iron Man. Week 2, you said Groot.
I said Groot, yes. I am a sucker to one movie ups and downs.
Yep. All right, and so Phase 3, Part 1. Who is your favorite hero and your favorite villain?
I am, again, a sucker of how one movie can change how it is that I feel about the heroes. My favorite, and I think he ends up being my favorite through the majority of the rest of the movies, is Thor. I think they flesh out Thor. Obviously, it's a Taika Waititi movie. It's one of my favorite ones ever. I think they flesh him out more. He has more. Even when he's trying to be serious, it feels more realistic. They Kenneth Branagh and Alan Taylor were making him the God of Thunder, and that's cool. Even when they brought him to New Mexico, he was still the God of Thunder. He still didn't feel realistic as a person. This one, he actually feels realistic as a person, and that continues, and his pathos is very interesting all the way through to Endgame, and then that's going to continue on with Thor: Love and Thunder. So Thor is definitely my favorite hero, without question. And at this point, given what movies are available, my favorite villain is Killmonger.
Okay. Yeah, Killmonger is really, really good.
So good. I really wish he hadn't have died. It's spoiler alerts if you haven't seen a movie from 3 years ago. But he could have done a lot, and who knows, given what's going on, they might try to resurrect him at some point, obviously. But he makes me feel so much for villains. There are a lot of good villains in this set. There's Zemo's pretty good, even though I know that the real conflict in Civil War is between the heroes. I think Vulture is great as a villain. Hell is very good as a villain. And I think this is the best stretch of villainy we get.
Yeah, except for Caecilius.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about villains in that one. I just care about how it is that they how the resolution occurs. That's what I really like about that movie. The resolution is subverts what you would think. But it's a really good stretch of villainy. I like Killmonger makes me feel the most between.
Oh yeah. Out of all the villains, I think he is the one who is I think him and Zemo are the ones who are absolutely right. Or they start that, and then I think Thanos kind of finishes it in Infinity War, and then
I mean Zemo does bomb the unit and kill T'Chaka, but I understand what you're saying.
But yeah, like
I think you think that more because his philosophies have been fleshed out a bit in this addendum series that he gets to be in. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I just like so. In my opinion, my favorite villain is Zemo because one, he's the only one who actually does what he sets out to do.
Yes, which we get reminded of at the end when Martin Freeman tries to make fun of him, and he's like, "Did I fail? What?"
Yeah, like he's the first real villain in the MCU to accomplish what he was set out to accomplish.
And he's one of the few villains that got to carry on and is still alive, still kicking. So good on you, Zemo.
Yeah, and he's one of the only villains who doesn't have the powers of his opponent, which is I like that a lot of.
That's why I think a lot of people like him in this stretch and Vulture, because Michael Keaton is just a dude in a wingsuit, and he's still alive, and he's going to play a big part. And we know he will because he was in the trailer for Morbius, the living vampire.
Yeah, I just hope that's not like a misdirect. Like I hope
you think that's like a weird thing they put in that's like something that was cut in the actual movie and he's not really in it,
or that he's in it but he's a different character. That would
no. He's the Vulture.
I would be so mad. I would be so mad.
The question will be: is that like a post credit where they're trying to get Morbius to join the Sinister and Insidious 6? That will be the question.
Yeah, yeah, that's so weird because, like, I mean, the Spider-Man that's on the wall in that trailer looks like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, which now
I mean, things are going to be fleshed out, right? With Spider-Man 3, who knows what that means?
Yeah, so yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, I guess we'll see. But and my favorite hero, I also thought like Civil War. I thought Iron Man was right.
I get where Steve's coming from, but I more skew towards Iron Man as well. And I know that's not the cool thing because it means you're like establishment, sort of. But I mean, Tony Stark didn't start off as an establishment person. He hated the government, and then he just sort of saw the errors of his ways and he needed to be kept in check. And he thought that sort of extended out to everybody who he gave all their gear and paid for all their stuff. So I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, but I think, and it might be because, he's passed now, but I think T'Challa is the best hero in this phase. But it might, I don't want to say that it's because he's,
because he's not around anymore.
Yeah, that now that Chadwick's not around anymore. Yes. But in the 2 appearances in this phase, he is great. And
I like him more in Civil War than Black Panther, technically. But that's probably me being a terrible colonistic white person. But I just think he's a breath of fresh air in that movie. And when he shows up in the Panther armor to try to mess up Bucky, I'm like, let's go. He's got it.
Yeah, and so I've never done this really, but who's your least favorite hero and who's your least favorite villain?
Least favorite villain, you said it. It's Caecilius. I don't think it's that close. Ego's kind of up there too because I feel like they waste Kurt Russell's talents. But I think it's Caecilius. I think you're right, and I love Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah,
2016 was a great year for Mads Mikkelsen with Rogue One and Doctor Strange. He was killing the Disney machine. My least favorite hero? That is a very good question. I would venture to say that my least favorite hero in this phase is probably... I'm going to go with Black Widow.
Okay.
I thought... I just thought she wasn't used very well in Civil War. And I thought that was kind of punctuated by how it is that she flip-flops so often in that airport fight, and then she's gone. It may be her. I can't really think of another one because there's not people I dislike as heroes throughout this whole thing. I would get if you said Doctor Strange, but I like Doctor Strange a lot, even though he's just a carbon copy of Tony Stark.
Absolutely.
Damn, what am I missing? I'm probably missing something that I'm not thinking of. I don't like Drax as much in 2.
Yeah, that was mine, was Drax.
He still makes me laugh, but he's not as endearing.
It's not until Infinity War that I think he gets funny again, in my opinion. And that's the big problem I think with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is it's not as much of the ensemble.
No, because they split them up.
Yeah, and I love that about the first Guardians movie. And it's the part that it's more of a Peter Quill and his dad story, and then the others are just side characters.
There's a little bit of Nebula and Gamora in there, and then they try to shoehorn in other things. I really like the Rocket Yondu dynamic. That's cool, but and then, there's a lot shoehorned in because there's 4 different factions of things going on in that movie.
Yeah, and Yondu's relationship with Peter is real. The Mary Poppins thing still makes my heart swell up because that's a total dad thing. You tell your dad something lame, and then he's like, "All right, I like that," and then you have to be like, "Yeah, he's the coolest," because you don't want to tell your dad that it was a thing that you just said was lame or whatever, and he's just especially when they're super excited about it, and you're like, okay, yeah.
They think they're being cool. I got to be honest. Every time I watch that part now, when he gives Peter the spacesuit, and it's Peter's struggling to get it off. I'm like, why are you struggling to get it off? Isn't it really easy to just take off? Can't you just give it to him? It kind of ruins it for me a little bit, and I'm like, he should have told him, I'm a celestial. I'm half celestial. I could probably survive out here longer than you can. There's a little bit of it but it still hits me the montage when they go through him. It's funny because they do the montage of Peter and Rocket flying in a clouded area, which seems weird. But the parts where they show like Yondu rearing him are cool, and I like that. So I like Guardians 2 a lot. It's probably not as good as 1, but I appreciate Guardians 2 very, very much. So
Yeah. And then like my least favorite hero, I was trying to think of my.
So it's not Drax. He was just on your list.
Yeah. Well, it probably is Drax, but I wonder, do you classify the Winter Soldier as a hero at this point or no?
I would classify him as a tool, and not like in a bad way. I don't really think of him as a person in that movie. I think of him as a plot device.
Yeah, I feel so sorry for Tony because you know that, like, since Winter Soldier, you know he's killed his parents, but now you're seeing it and you're like, oh, Steve didn't tell him, and I'm like, that's pretty jacked up.
I was always confused on that, by the way, because I know, Zola showed him that his parents didn't have an accident, but was it fully confirmed that Winter Soldier killed him? I mean, I went with Steve when he said, I didn't know it was him. I was like, okay, I get that, because I didn't get that it was him unless he dug deep within the 2 years between Winter Soldier and Civil War. So I always got confused about that part.
Well, I always assumed it was Bucky. So in my brain, I was like, well, yeah, because he's their assassin. It wasn't until Civil War where they painted the picture of more Winter Soldiers that I was like, oh, okay, maybe it wasn't Bucky.
Yeah. I think that's a misdirect to make you think that.
Yeah, it could have been these other 5 that killed Tony's parents. And then they showed the scene, and I'm like, oh, no, he did it. Okay, now I want Tony to kill him. I completely understand, which now I'm like, I'm glad he didn't, because the show is so good. Like,
they never got closure.
Yeah.
I was a little sad about that. They never got closure.
Yeah, yeah, that was weird. But
no, I mean, there wasn't any time for it anywhere. I get it, but I just wish there was like 2 minutes.
But yeah, like, I thought Iron Man was my favorite, but I think Spider-Man might have been my favorite hero of the phase. He's so good, and he's always the way I thought that Spider-Man should act from the comics. Mm-hmm. Like, he's just a big kid, and we haven't really seen that because in the Tobey Maguire one, yeah, like, he was really good at being the nerd for, a 1970s Spider-Man. And Andrew Garfield was, but they were both way too old.
I mean, Andrew Garfield was 28. He wasn't like super old, but I get what you're saying.
But I mean, they were still supposed to be like high school kids. Like, Tom Holland was like 20 years old when he was
like 18. He was like young when they started filming for Civil War. So it's that adage, right? Tobey Maguire was good as Peter Parker, but he wasn't a good Spider-Man, and Andrew Garfield was good at being Spider-Man, but he wasn't a good Peter Parker because he was like this good-looking emo guy. So you're supposed to believe he's a nerd. But I'm like, nah, he's Andrew Garfield. Are you kidding me? Looks like do modeling for Abercrombie.
Because we had seen him in The Social Network before this, right?
I never watched The Social Network.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I kind of refuse on a few principles, but that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it was really good, but I understand that mindset. But yeah, like, he was, but I think Tom Holland is the perfect combination of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. So.
He is. Spider-Man would be my 2 or 3, depending on how I feel about Black Panther.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
what's your favorite movie of these 7? I think, right?
Ooh, that's what I'm trying to figure out, is if my favorite movie is Civil War, or if my favorite movie is Ragnarok.
Not Black Panther.
Again, like, I don't want to say, because I've watched it recently, and I thought it was good, but now that he's passed, I thought now I'm like, oh, that's so good. And I don't,
You're worried you're being biased because
yeah, I am absolutely worried that I'm being biased. And I don't want to be that way. So I'm trying to, like, I had already admitted that that was the reason why I think he's the best hero. So that's the reason why I gave alternatives, because if, in case it is my bias on the fact that he's passed away, that's not.
So do you have a definitive, or you just you're tying them?
Honestly, probably Civil War or Homecoming. Now,
So you took Ragnarok out of there.
yeah, like Homecoming is so good. Like that scene where he picks up the rubble off of himself is so good.
Half Peter Parker, half Spider-Man. You got to do it on your own, kid.
Yeah, and the scene where, as a person who I knew the Vulture from the comics, and he's not her dad in the comics, so that twist was so surprising to me that
it was cool.
Like he turns around and he knows it's Peter, and you're like, or he gets to the door and it's her dad, and I'm just like, oh.
Little disingenuous he was. He always made it seem like he was like the little guy scrapping, and then you go to like their house, and their house is gorgeous in the New York suburbs, or the Atlanta suburbs, really, because that's where it was filmed. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. So probably Civil War.
Civil War.
Yeah, I think it started out great, and of course, like we're not factoring in the second half of the phase, but I think Civil War might still be my favorite part of the entire phase.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's my third in this list.
Yeah,
I think it's behind Ragnarok and Black Panther for me. And I think by default, my least favorite's Doctor Strange. And that's nothing to shake your head about. It's just something has to be the worst in this list. I think it's Doctor Strange to me.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
I know a lot of people would say Guardians too, but again, I like Guardians too. So you're not gonna pin that on me.
So since we're still talking movies and stuff, have you watched the trailer to Shang-Chi?
I did a few times, actually.
Okay, so
a lot of people loved it. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't love it as much as some other people.
So there was the moment where you see, I'm pretty sure it's the guy who's playing the Mandarin.
Yeah, his name's not, I forget what his actual name is. They made up a name for him because they can't use Fu Manchu because they don't have the rights to it, and they don't want to use it because of all the negative racial connotations it has.
Yeah. So I was just happy to see that, because again, we went on my little rant last week about how horrific Iron Man 3 was because of their misuse of the Mandarin, and I'm just like, yes. But I remember watching this trailer and thinking the entire time, this reminds me of the Iron Fist show on Netflix.
No. I never got that sense.
Like, but in a good way. Like, I like that show.
Oh.
So
I did not like that show.
Yeah. I liked all the lore and stuff about it. Like there were some, I never watched season 2, so I can't have an opinion on that.
It's funny. We love the Marvel shows, but we never finished any of them. We missed the next season of the last season of everyone.
Oh yeah, I have not seen anything past Defender, so I haven't watched Daredevil season 3 or season 2 or Jessica Jones season 2 and 3 or Iron Fist season 2. I wish they had made a Defender season 2.
You'd be in the minority of that one.
But because I like Defenders, I liked them all teaming up and stuff, and I haven't watched Punisher season 2 yet either.
Yeah,
eventually I will get on that, but
one day, maybe when we start getting closer to Spider-Man 3, and we know that Daredevil's in it. I know people love Daredevil season 3. I know that, and I would really like to see it as a result. Luke Cage was actually my favorite of those. I love Luke Cage. I thought he was great. Now he's fighting evil spirits on a CBS show, but I wish he would come back. And there's rumors that they'll try to bring more of the TV show MCU into the actual MCU.
Yeah, that would be good because I know at some point during the shows they stopped referencing the MCU,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, is this them trying to distance themselves from the movies because the movies aren't going to reference them? And now I'm like, oh, Charlie Cox might be in Spider-Man 3. And
Is it a might? I thought it was definitely.
well, they've said like everyone in the universe is going to be in that movie that has apparently been in anything. So I don't know what casting is actually real and what casting is fake
Fair.
or whatever. Like, yeah, I have no idea. But
So to just coming back to our discussion about before we move on to anything else. So did you say Doctor Strange was your least favorite? By
yes,
default?
yeah, just for the fact that I think Caecilius is the weakest villain. And I think that, like, even Kurt Russell, all of those scenes in Guardians 2 with him and Peter are so good. And then when you see the reveal that he killed his mom and his reaction, that's a good time. Like,
I know that sounds bad.
yeah.
His did you love his museum of fornication?
Yeah, so that was weird. Like, he goes through there and he doesn't change his form in any of those.
No, he's Kurt Russell through and through the whole time.
Yeah, so I always thought that was weird because like he takes a Terran form the entire movie, and I thought, oh, when he'll display when he starts displaying all the women, he will have like changed into their form, so it makes sense that he would mate with these women via and trying to make himself look like them. Because when you're a gigantic douchebag, that's what you do. Is you try and make yourself appealing to the person. And there is no way some of those aliens would be like, yes, I want that. Because no offense, humans are disgusting.
Yeah. I mean,
And
he describes it when he talks about all the stuff that he puts. Like, I got a digestive system and all that junk. Like,
yeah, like when he's like, it killed me to have to put that tumor in her head. And I'm just like, oh.
I was like,
Yeah.
you should be the world's greatest doctor and just take tumors out of everybody. People would love you, man. You could own the world without having to expand over top of it.
Yeah, so I've always thought, especially since, the next movie that we'll talk about next week, potentially, according to everyone's schedule, is Infinity War. So I've always wondered, why is it that it just took now for Thanos to invade Earth? So have you ever had any theories about that?
My theory was that he knew the Avengers were on Earth, so he wanted to try to procure as many non-earthly stones as he could before he touched down there, which ends up being the case because he gets 5 before he shows up on Earth. But I don't think there's a good way around that as a story beat.
All right, so I've always been the person who I've thought that Thanos knew about Ego's spore thing or whatever it was, like mushroom, whatever it was, and he knew the ancient one was there, and he knew that Odin was on the planet. And then once all 3 of those got wiped out, he decided to come.
It's a pretty good theory. It makes more sense.
And yeah, because especially Odin was on the planet up until like what, 2 weeks or however long it was that Loki.
I think it was like a month because it was 3 weeks after the fight, and then he was probably there for a week or 2. I bet it was like 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, so
who knows how long after that ended before Thanos showed up and the Statesman and took it over.
Yeah,
I don't know. So it's probably at most 2 months.
Yeah, so yeah, because pretty much immediately after Odin dies, Hela shows up and does all her stuff, and then Loki and Thor land on Sakaar, and then they go beat up Hela, and then Asgard's destroyed. So like, and then as soon as they get on the ship, then boom, whatever uh, Thanos' ship is called shows up, and he's like,
Sanctuary.
"Yep, thank you." Yeah, so after all that, like he's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go get that." Like, and I've also always thought, I'm like, so if Loki had left the Tesseract on Asgard, could Surtur have destroyed it?
Kind of seemed like it.
Yeah, like I don't know if you like.
It might have been hurtling on its own through space. Who knows?
Yeah, so maybe, yeah. But all right, let's go ahead and we can transition to TV, and let me go ahead and get that spoiler tag up here because we're about to talk Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Hey, you over there. You know, it's Sunday. It's about 12 o'clock. This video's on. But you're here. Hey, it's been a really long weekend. You've probably been chilling out with your family, doing all this stuff. You haven't watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier yet? Okay, go watch that, then come back because we're going to talk about it. And I don't want you to be spoiled. I wouldn't have wanted me to be spoiled. That's the reason why I watched it at 5 in the morning on a Friday. Because I will get spoiled. But I don't want to do that to you. Viewer, I like you. You're my people. So go on. All right, now
Come back.
once you come back. All right. So Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or as we should call it, Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
I saw that we should have called it Captain America and Bucky Barnes because he's not technically the Winter Soldier anymore, but they didn't want to do that because it doesn't sound as cool.
Yeah, or Captain America and the White Wolf.
Or that one. Well, he can't go to Wakanda, right? He called in his last favor, so I don't think he could be the White Wolf either.
Well, yeah, but now Wakanda's open to the world, so what's going to stop him from just walking there?
I don't know, but they told him not to show up for a bit. That he was persona non grata there.
Yeah, the episode I thought was really good. So we'll talk about it, and then So I saw a theory today that we might discuss if you're cool with it about something. But so what did you think of the episode?
I thought last week's was better. Last week's I thought had a darker bit of tone, and I thought it played to characters' strengths better. This episode was like 70% action, which is fine, but as I've seen, I watched a review or two, and it feels a little rushed there in the middle and the beginning. I mean, like Sharon Carter just shows up. She's just like, "Hey, that thing from Winter Soldier, I was using it. I'm here. I got in the border somehow. That's cool." Falcon like fights Batroc, and then he just leaves, and then Batroc somehow gets downtown fast enough. I mean, I don't know how long that helicopter chase took, but I imagine it wasn't that long. And I mean, Sam, the coolest parts to me were just seeing people in their new digs. Seeing Sam in his suit was cool. Seeing how he interacted and worked with the shield and the wings was cool. Everybody loves that speech that he gave to the senators, which was very poignant. I do like that they changed the end card. I watched a review where somebody said, wouldn't it be great if by the end Sam took Isaiah Bradley to to the museum there with Steve Rogers, and there was like a wing dedicated to him, and then he cried and then he hugged Sam, and that's exactly what ended up happening. And I was like, well, that was kind of spoiled for me, but it still played well. I thought Isaiah was a little tamer. I thought he would still be upset given what it is that he had said the previous episode. So I thought that didn't make as much sense to me, his resolution for that. But at least he was still being like a crotchety old man, so that was fine. I like the episode. It sets up some cool things. I like John Walker as sort of the U.S. agent. He's the dude in black who's gonna like do some dirt, which is cool. We're obviously gonna be set up for something big with Sharon Carter re-infiltrating the U.S. government through the CIA terrorism task force, and with Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, and what it is Julie Louis-Dreyfus is going to do. It was a solid ending, and I'm glad we got this. Was brought on the heels of, now that this has happened, there's going to be a Captain America 4.
Yeah.
Which probably means that there's going to be no more seasons of the show.
Yeah, that was the part that I saw that after watching it, and I was so sad because I would thought they could continue with the show, rename it Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and it'd be fun. Like, I would much rather do that than having a movie. But hey, it's going to be a good time. I really enjoyed everything about this episode. So, yeah, like the scene where Bucky has to go tell that guy that he killed his son and stuff, and then saw him out eating dinner or having drinks or whatever.
What did Bucky do? How long was it between when he told him and when he showed up? What was Bucky doing? Because they said he had to make amends to everybody. How long was it from when he told him to when he gave the doc his book to when he saw him? How much time passed? I don't know. Was that just a reference that he didn't need the book anymore? That he didn't actually cross everybody off the list, but he just didn't need the book anymore because of what Sam had told him about making amends? I don't know. It seemed very confusing to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, he couldn't cross Tony Stark off his list. I wonder if he was in that book and he couldn't cross him off that list no matter how hard he tried.
Yeah. So one thing I'm glad we did not see, like I had heard so many things, like Chris Evans was going to be.
I knew that wasn't going to happen.
Dude, I was so happy that we didn't see Old Man Steve.
There was, from what I learned from WandaVision, is don't expect anything big because it's not going to happen.
Yeah. And yeah, like, so I was happy about that, and I'm just ready to see where all this goes.
I thought last week's episode was the best John Walker episode, and I think this episode was one of the weaker John Walker episodes.
I do like that he helped.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I still see that. Oh, he's a good person in there. Like, he didn't have to do, like, I don't know.
I think it's fair if you cut it off for when he tries to save the van. But then when he and Bucky and Sam were like going through the underground and he's just taking orders from Sam, like, I wanted him to be more brash because he still wanted to go after Carly, but he seemed to just put that aside. And I don't know. I thought they neutered him a little bit.
And so I liked that. And also, I mean, Zemo got what he wanted.
Yeah, that was kind of funny, right? You think, oh man, the super soldiers. By the way, when the super soldiers are getting corded away and they're in handcuffs, I'm like, are those vibranium handcuffs? Or are they just not wanting to escape for some reason? And then the dude does the mantra and like, oh, I think they're gonna escape. And then they get blown up, and I was like, wait, was that an intricate escape plan? Did they like go through the bottom like in Captain America Winter Soldier when everybody escapes the van from the strike team? But then I was like, nope, I think they're just dead. So that was a very weird part to me as well.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, they were gonna escape.
Yeah.
The entire after he was like, one world, one people, yeah. And I was just like, oh, they're gonna escape. And then I thought, oh, this will lead into the next season of the show because they're gonna want to get their revenge for them killing Carly because they don't know that how she died or whatever. They're gonna blame the governments of the world and all that stuff. So it will reignite that, and then you just see, Zemo's Alfred up on the.
I honestly forgot what he looked like, so I saw the old dude in the thing, and I was like, "Wait, who's that again?" And then I was like, "Oh, wait, no, that's Zemo's. It was Ofre or whatever his name is."
Yeah, and then you see the raft, and you just see Zemo in there watching TV or whatever, and I'm like, hey, he did it. He did his thing, and
Every Zemo encounter will end with him being incarcerated, but him laughing and smiling because he actually got what he wanted.
yeah. But now technically he's not done. There's still at least two more super soldiers out there, in John and Bucky, and then if you count the entire fact that Black Panther is technically a Winter Soldier, or not a Winter Soldier, a super soldier.
Well, that's okay because Zemo's going to be in Wakanda, right? Black Panther too.
Well, I mean, maybe because he's in the Raft prison now, and who knows?
Yeah, he'll get broken out.
Yeah,
there's other people in the raft, right? It's not him by himself.
Yeah. So I saw a thing. I don't know if you read the comics or anything like the Dark Avengers.
No, I'm not a comic reader. So
okay. So in the comics, the Dark Avengers are a thing that Norman Osborn, when he's supposed to be like, oh, I'm a good guy now. So he takes different. He makes a new Avengers team that kind of runs and does all their things, but they have a different version of every single one of the Avengers. Like he is in the Iron Man suit, and he has Red Hulk there, and some other stuff. So they could use U.S. Agent, and they could use Zemo instead of Norman Osborn since they haven't introduced Norman yet. So if he assembles his own team to take out the Avengers, that'd be okay.
It could be him. It could be Julie Louis-Dreyfus. It could be Thunderbolt Ross with the Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
could be anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything's a possibility, I guess. And we only Abomination is still out there somewhere.
He is. He's still kicking. Still hanging about.
So they wouldn't technically have to do Red Hulk, if they wanted to do where Thunderbolt Ross is leading this organization, and maybe that's how he gets his powers, as he realizes, oh, I can't depend on these other people.
I heard a lot of theories about tying Julie Louis-Dreyfus to Secret Invasion.
Yeah, so I heard something very similar. I don't know if she'll be if she'll be Madam Hydra or if she'll be a woman for the Leviathan group, but yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what's happening. So
yep.
So I saw somewhere Mike Kalinowski posted this on Twitter, and talking about how he didn't understand why they were doing this, and then apparently he woke up and was like, oh, this is brilliant. I don't know if you want me to tell you about.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so
spoilers is down there. I understand the rest.
Yeah. So you know how Sharon Carter's been acting all weird?
Yes.
So he theorized that she's a Skrull. And and they're setting up Secret Invasion, and and that's a big thing in the comic books where Skrulls start taking over roles on Earth. And
start a bad faction of Skrulls because the Skrulls have now been set up as decent people.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see, or I guess they could introduce her and make it I don't want them to make it Mystique. That would be the worst.
Yeah.
That she took over Sharon, because then it wouldn't make either one of those theories doesn't make sense on why she would wear the mask that makes her look like someone else if she has the ability to turn into
Well,
someone.
you have to do that for Bucky's sake to make it seem like it's her, and she wouldn't have the ability to do that.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's absolutely right. Yeah, like I don't like that we have to wait 4 weeks till Loki comes out.
It's more than that, isn't it?
I think it's like 4, something like that. But yeah, pretty much all of May we have to wait, and I guess there is one more week in April. So you're right. I keep on thinking that April's a 4-week month, and
it's a 5-week month.
It's a 5-week month.
Yep.
But yeah, like it's a really good show. I'll probably rewatch it. Now that it's over and WandaVision's over, I can streamline it all with the kids, so that will be good. And now that they've Disney has made the deal with Sony to where the Spider-Man movies are going to
There will be Carnage.
I can now watch that whenever that gets finalized. So
Venom. I'm gonna get him. You know.
Yep. So and then the rest of the movies will be on Netflix because they made a deal with that. So I can watch all the things. So with my children. So that would be good.
Did you like this more than WandaVision?
I think if I had just watched all of this together and watched all of WandaVision together, I think I would have liked it better. But the most intriguing part of WandaVision was the theorizing. Like, even though it didn't go anywhere, like, all my theories were just, like, mud. Like, my Mephisto theory and all of that. None of that, like, and, like, Evan Peters being X-Men Quicksilver, all of that was just not a thing. Like, so I enjoyed that part of WandaVision, but if I had just watched it all together, I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a better quality show, in my opinion.
I got more feels from WandaVision, but I think it's acted better. But I think I more care about Falcon and Winter Soldier. I like spy espionage aspects to stuff like that. So I think I like the idea of that more.
Yeah, I agree completely. This show definitely seemed more MCU like.
Yes, I think that was the point.
Yeah, and I like that about it a lot. But again, I liked Vision for, like, it made me theorize stuff, which I'm like you. I don't really theorize that much, but that one, all of those theories seemed like spot on, and I was like, yeah, this makes sense. And then none of them were correct.
That's what I'm saying. There's not a lot of opportunity to look deeper than what they're showing you, because I don't think they want to do that, because I think they want to keep their options open.
Yeah, I think the only thing I got right was the fact that Vision is back, essentially, and I think Scarlet Witch is going to be the villain now, and that Insane kind of showed that. And, like, during Falcon and Winter Soldier, the entire time I was thinking, I was like, I thought to myself, I wonder how this would have happened if, like I wonder, would Black Panther have led the Dora Milaje to go get Zemo if Chadwick hadn't passed away?
Yeah, I don't think they would put Chadwick in a show.
Because,
maybe you get a little bit more Wakanda.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more references to the Black Panther, but I don't think he would have been in the show.
Yeah, because I think there's only like one reference to Black Panther, right? Because to the entire
it's when they're sneaking around. It's like, who are you? There's Black Panther. What are you? The White Panther? And he's like the White Wolf. I think that's the only reference.
Yeah, and then the kid's called Falcon,
Black Falcon.
Black Falcon. He's like,
What are you the black? I like how his grandson was like, hey, Black Falcon, what's up? He's like, you need to learn some manners. I'm sorry. This part made me laugh, and I read a comment where somebody said it was like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. When the guy, when Falcon saves the van, and the guy's like, hey, it's the Black Falcon, I think. And he's like, no, man, that's Captain America. I just laughed. I laughed. I know it's important for people, and it's important especially for people of a certain culture, but to me, it just seemed funny. I was like, yeah, he is. He's Captain America. He said it as such at the beginning, but I just like when people like make comments like that and they focus on them.
so I was wondering about Isaiah Bradley's grandson.
Patriot in the Young Avengers.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, he has super strength, right? That's totally passed on.
Yeah, he would have to. He'd have to have a little bit of it. You think he would have been like running circles around his friend playing hoops outside, but maybe he doesn't like to showcase it.
Yeah. So that makes me wonder if I've always personally, after Endgame, I've thought that Steve Rogers is somewhere in that timeline, and that he just went back in time and married Peggy, and that you just never see Peggy's husband because he doesn't want people to know that he's around. So I wonder if they had children, are there little Steve Rogers running around this timeline that just have not displayed their powers because they know, oh, if we do that, someone will find Dad or whatever?
I'm not sure it's in this timeline.
Yeah.
No, I would venture to say that Isaiah Bradley's grandson, his name I can't remember, and I feel bad. I think he's the only, in this alpha timeline, the only born super soldier, like the next generation super soldier from birth.
Which, I mean, if he's
until John Walker and his wife have a kid.
Yeah, which, I mean, I would assume Isaiah Bradley's son or daughter, whoever the parent of that kid, probably is as well. And if he has any siblings.
That's what I was thinking about. I'm like, where are his parents? Does parents factor in at all at some point?
Yeah. Yeah. So who knows?
Well, we've had Wiccan and Speed and Wiccan. We've had Patriot. We're gonna have Hawkeye. We've had Stature from Endgame, and she'll be in Ant-Man 3. Who else are we missing? Who else do we get to see? Iron. What's the girl version of Iron Man?
Ironheart.
Ironheart. We got Ironheart. She's coming. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Young Avengers is going to be really interesting, and
it's definitely happening. I think that's without a doubt. That's a whole team. There's a whole team that's already been introduced technically.
Well, and technically, like, if they really want to, like, I don't know if Miles Morales would be part of the Young Avengers or not, because he's probably close to the same age as Peter. But since Miles is out there, if he gets bit by the spider somehow, there we go. We have another.
He doesn't need to get bit by the spider.
Yeah,
he just needs to come over from the Spider-Verse into a new timeline.
Which, I mean, because we saw the Prowler be played by Child Gambit. I don't know his actual name, but
Donald Glover.
Yep, there you go. I probably have that in one of these cards here. Yeah. But Antonio, I'm coming for you.
Aaron, Uncle Aaron.
Yep. So we know, and he even refers to his nephew. So we know that Miles is in this timeline somewhere. So he's got to get bit by the spider, I would assume. But who knows? Yeah, like the show was good, and I really, really enjoyed it. I can't wait for Loki. I can't wait for What If, because that one will actually be the last time we hear Chadwick Boseman's voice, because he is in an episode. And
two.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. But yeah, like I can't wait. I only know of one episode that they've kind of talked about, and that one will be interesting. So I can't wait for all of that. And the Miss Marvel show, that's going to be interesting because
Yes, sorry, she'll probably be in the Young Avengers too, Ms. Marvel.
yeah, because in the comic she's an Inhuman. But do you want to reference Inhumans and make people have to go watch that or
They're gonna have to watch it.
yeah, people are well either they'll reference Agents of the Shield, which is great because I love Agents of the Shield.
Oh, there was a cutout. Spoiler warning for the rest of the show. From what it is that Colton had said, he definitely loves Agents of Shield, and I know that he and Rue talked about it. I don't have any concept of it. I do know that Ghost Rider. That's what I was going to talk about. If he didn't cut out, was that Ghost Rider definitely made an appearance in the Agents of Shield, and I want to know if Ghost Rider will show up at any point because that's what I'd be looking forward to. Not that we don't love the classic Ghost Rider and Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, but a new iteration of that would be very interesting. This will be fun. We're going to vamp a little bit so that Colton can come back. Yeah, Young Avengers will be fun. There's so many things going on. I know that there were references in this to moving forward to Secret Invasion and Armor Wars, I think, a little bit. So looking forward to that. And Colton is back.
Yes. As I was saying, Agents of Shield is great, and their use of the Inhumans is good. So
what about Ghost Rider?
Yeah, I actually really like that as well.
Okay.
But
I just want to see some Ghost Rider.
I don't think they'll reference that because in Agents of Shield they do reference the Dark Hold, and it's a pretty important plot point.
Which is what they mentioned when they were when WandaVision, when we got to the end, if that was the Dark Hold or not.
Yep, and because she even talks about, oh, this is the Dark Hold and all that stuff, and it does not look like the Dark Hold from the Agents of Shield show. So I don't know. They could just say, hey, Miss Marvel is the first Inhuman that we have. We're going to just not talk about those other things that we've done. Yep. I totally see that as what's probably going to happen. But, yeah. And then the Hawkeye show, that's going to be good. I'm trying to think of what other shows that are coming. I think that's
Armor Wars.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Sorry. Yes. With Tatiana Maslany, right? I think she's the She-Hulk. Is that right? Okay.
All right. But I guess we're done with TV and stuff and spoilers.
Yep. Overall impressions of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It was a very good series. I was very happy. Got to watch it. I think it needed one additional episode to really hash things out because I think that Flag Smasher power broker dynamic was very weak. I think this was really just about the story of Sam Wilson becoming Captain America. And I don't really think they needed that plot line of the additional super soldiers. But overall, very good impression. Did enjoy the show a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I love the show. It was good. I can't wait to now watch the movie Cap 4. So that's going to be great. And let's go ahead and go to the farewell. So let's take off that spoiler tag. So are you Captain Falcon?
I like the people asking, hey, how's it feel to be Captain America? Are you Falcon? Are you Black Falcon? Are you Captain Falcon? I just loved it. That's what people would say. They would be like, what are you now? Who are you now? It's so weird. You were something, and then we had a Captain America, and then he got stripped, and then it was like a day later, you're now the new Captain America. So,
yeah, and yep.
By the way, his John Walker's shield, we should say farewell to that because that shit got beat up.
Yeah. Yep. So, do you have anything you would like to plug?
I mean, I just had my first team match in Warzone with my partner Melissa Woody, Pain and Panic. We just had a match that went up yesterday, so if you haven't got a chance to watch that, that was a very good match. I would recommend that. I'm going to be in a lot of fan league things that are happening over the course of the next few months. So again, if you are sick of me on this show, you're definitely going to get sick of me because you're going to see me a lot unfortunately. So look out for that at Robert Kastner. Come and talk. Likes to talk to people.
Yep, and I'll go ahead and make this announcement. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm starting my own YouTube channel. I've talked to Robert about it. I've talked to Anthony about it. I got to get with Rue and see if he wants to be a guest on one of my shows sometime. And a few of my other friends who are going to be on it. But yeah, we're going to do a lot of things. We're going to have a movie show. We're going to have a fandom show. And then we're going to have something else in the pipeline. And I hope to get that done by June. But who knows? With plans and stuff. I wanted to do this podcast for about 3 years, but it did not happen. It just hopefully.
I'm still trying to get my podcast off the ground, so I understand.
Yep. So don't worry, this will still be on TMG. Eventually, I'm going to have my own YouTube channel, and then that all the additional content will be on that. But we'll still have the SuperNova Show on TMG. I really appreciate the fellas over there for giving me this opportunity. It's great. But yeah, so as I roll out production stuff, I'll definitely let you guys know. I'll let all my cast know, because obviously I want them to be a part of this journey with me as much as can possibly be. So and next week, Thursday the 29th, I am having surgery. I have this little lump above my left eye. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's a little fatty tumor, and I'm getting that removed because I've probably had it for about 1.5 years, and my wife finally told me I had to go to the doctor, so I listened like a good husband should. Husbands out there, listen to your wives. They are just looking out for you.
Damn.
Yep. So, and as the typical man, I don't want to go to the doctor if I don't have to. But she told me I had to, so I had to. And I'm glad I did. But I should be able to host the show next Friday. Of course, I'll have like a scar all over my forehead, so you guys get to deal with that. And yeah, so just thoughts out there that goes well. Yep. But you can follow me on Twitter at Colton Roberts 8, and you can follow the show at @supernova_show. Thank you, Robert, for being on the show this week. I really appreciate it. I know it was a little later than it usually is, but hey, that's good.
For the people not for people today who are watching it today, just right on time.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
Yes. Production. But yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being on.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Colton, as always.
Yep. And you guys have a good weekend. Hope you have a good week. Fans out there, the 6 viewers who watch the show on an occasion.
Thank you, handful of viewers. We really appreciate you.
Yes.
One for the thumb.
Yep. But yeah, signing out.
Don't forget to tip your virtual waitress, guys.